This is it. The tips to what you need to know to finish your first draft. Finally, everything from how long it should take, how to do it, and what to do if you feel like your first draft is bad. And I promise you, you're not the only one. I'm Carson Long, an author dedicated to helping you become a better writer. And today, we are going to be completely transparent about first drafts, what they are, why they matter, and how to actually finish one. If you have ever wondered, do first drafts always suck? How do you avoid stalling out in the middle? And what's the best way to prepare so you don't just quit halfway through? You will get answers here. And if this is your very first draft, let me tell you, finishing it will change your life. But here's something that you might not have asked yourself before. Is it possible that just calling your first draft bad is actually holding you back? You might have heard that advice. Your first draft will suck. Hemingway said it, Stephen King repeated it in On Writing, and Lamott wrote about it in Bird by Bird. Fantastic writing books by fantastic writers. But what does it mean, right? Bad compared to what? The books that you buy in a bookstore? Well, of course it's gonna look rough compared to something that's been polished by 10 rounds of edits. Here's the truth. Your first draft isn't supposed to be a masterpiece. We all know that. It's not even supposed to be good. It's supposed to exist. Your first draft is your sandbox, a place to figure out your characters and their relationships and the world and the plot. And only by the end of your draft does that story even begin to make sense. Even the pros do this. Brandon Sanderson has his first draft of Warbreaker online, and it's missing entire characters, setups, and payoffs. Does it mean that it sucks? No, it means that it's a draft. You know, there's another famous quote. It says, writing is rewriting. And remember, you can't edit a blank page. So I guess, how do we go from a blank page to a finished draft? First, you have to prepare yourself for success. Writers love to debate, are you a pantser or a plotter? Do you plan everything or make it up as you go? Here's my opinion, especially if you're new. Many unfinished drafts happen because writers thought they were pantsers, but they weren't. Anyone can get through the opening act, maybe even the inciting incident, but the middle 50% of the story, that's where most writers stall. So give yourself a roadmap. It doesn't have to be a full outline, but at least sketch your major turning points. Think of it like a road trip. You don't need to know every gas station that you'll pass, but you should at least know your destination and a couple of stops along the way. You can plot some things and discover others. I plan my plot pretty meticulously, but then I allow myself to discover my characters. Find what works for you. And the best part, you will only find your personal balance of planning versus discovery by experimenting. And once you've got a structure, even a loose one, you'll avoid the most common trap, quitting halfway. So now you're prepared to sit down and write this thing. How long should a draft take? Every writer is different, but one thing unites us all. Writing is hard. It takes a long time. It's, of course, based on how quickly you write, how much time you can dedicate to the process of writing, and even the length of your story. Some writers swear by 2,000 words a day, and others barely hit 300. But for your first draft, the number doesn't even matter. The only thing that matters is momentum. Life happens. Work, school, health, hobbies. That's why I always prioritize reaching the end of my draft above all else, because once you finish, you finally have something real to revise. So how long should that draft take? Maybe in a perfect world, 3 to 6 months of consistent writing. Some writers sprint and finish in a month. Others can take years on their first draft. Either way, you have more than one story in you. So the faster you learn how to finish a draft, the faster you'll grow as a writer as you work on the next one. Here's how you can do that. Focus on progress, not perfection. Stuck on a scene? Leave a note, skip on ahead. Don't get trapped in polishing details that will change in your revision. What matters most is knowing where your characters are going and actually getting them there. Your process will be unique to you, but it takes experimentation to really figure it out. So there's no better way to do it than by writing. So when we talk about a first draft being bad, what does that mean? If your first draft exists, you've done it. You have a good first draft. That draft is you creating something out of nothing and introducing a brand new story into the world. Following that, you can edit it, you rewrite, you improve your characters, you streamline the plot, but that first draft is just for you to try things out. Calling a first draft bad is just reductive, and it's not helpful for anyone. If anything, it holds people back who are already nervous about trying to write that first draft. And look, maybe this advice came from writing teachers who noticed that new writers were getting demoralized by comparing their first draft with the expectations that they have or books that they've always read. But instead of just calling that first draft bad, let's shift our perspective and use the first draft as it should be used, to have a ton of fun writing and exploring something new. The first draft isn't bad, it's just the start of something amazing. I hope this was a helpful video, and I hope you're able to start writing your first draft. Post your comments and questions below and subscribe to Story Lab so you never miss a video, and I'll see you next time.